AITA for bringing an emotional support animal to a funeral despite my daughter's wishes? I am a 38 meters. Daughter, Isa, fake name, is 17F. Stepdaughter, Ava, also fake name, is 9F. Isa's stepfather recently died. I felt terrible because I knew while they weren't super close, he'd been in her life since she was 5. So I knew it must have hit hard. My family was also invited to the funeral. The issue is, however, Ava has horrible social anxiety. She's homeschooled because of it and has difficulty going to social outings. She's in therapy and has an emotional support rabbit named Luna. Since this funeral would be pretty crowded, we decided to let Ava bring Luna to the funeral. Isa had a problem with that. Isa quickly told me she didn't think it was a good idea. Pets were not allowed at this particular cemetery. I told her this was a rabbit. What harm could it do? And Ava had a medical reason for bringing her rabbit. She then looked it up on Google and showed me only service animals were allowed to come. I told her I'd bring Luna, and if an issue arose, we'd leave. She begged me not to, saying her stepdad's death was already hard enough on her mom, and she didn't want any drama to make it worse. I told her I'd think about it and keep that in mind. The thing is, Ava needs her emotional support pet. She wouldn't make it through the funeral if she didn't. She also really wanted Ava there. So what else could we do? Isa drove to the funeral with her mom, while my family and I drove together. We brought Luna. Isa and her mom were waiting for us at the entrance when we got out. When Isa saw Luna, she freaked out and started yelling that she told me not to bring her. I explained Ava's needs, and she then screamed that Ava should have just stayed home then and caused Ava to cry. I felt bad because I know she was already dreading the social interaction. So hearing her sister say that must have hurt her badly. My wife and Isa got into it after that. Not so kind words were spoken by either party. Her mom took Isa's side and told us to leave. I agreed, and we went home. Isa has been giving me the cold shoulder, but I don't know how else I could have handled this differently. AITA? YTA. Why didn't Ava and your wife just stay home? They were obviously not there to support your older daughter. They aren't grieving family members. They didn't need to be there. You made a funeral about Ava and her rabbit. It wasn't the Ava show. It wasn't your show either. And your wife made things worse by getting into it with a grieving teenager and her grieving mother. YTA. Rabbits aren't service animals or common emotional support animals for a reason. They are so well known for their anxiety that many vets won't work with them because of how easily they can frighten themselves to death. In a safe and accommodating home with minimal surprises, a rabbit can provide emotional support. At a crowded public event, the rabbit needs emotional support. Others have mentioned how you should have checked in with the adults involved in organizing the funeral, so I'll leave that aside to emphasize that this was deeply irresponsible caretaking of your daughter and her rabbit. It could have ended much worse. YTA. It seems like your function at this funeral was to support Isa in her grief. This is likely also why Ava and your wife were invited as well. If Isa did not want the rabbit to attend, that should have been respected. At best, you should have asked Isa if she would have preferred Ava come with the rabbit or not come at all. Also, it's unsustainable for Ava to never go anywhere without a rabbit. She needs help finding more strategies to cope with this anxiety. YTA. You claim the whole point of going to the funeral was to support Isa. She told you point blank that bringing that rabbit would only make it worse for her. You essentially told Isa that you don't care about her feelings. Ava was not prescribed an emotional support animal. But if you feel that insistent that Ava not go anywhere without it, why didn't you leave Ava home? Why did you choose AA over Isa? YTA. Pets were not allowed at this particular cemetery. I told her this was a rabbit. What harm could it do? And Ava had a medical reason for bringing her rabbit. ESA are not granted public access rights under the AITA. If this was in the US, and what possible harm could be done if a rabbit got loose in a funeral? YTA. Ava did not need to come. Emotional support animals are sometimes not allowed. Because everyone can call everything any animal that. Your daughter lost someone who was a dad to her since she was 5. She asked you to not do this. You did it anyway. You did not know the deceased. Neither did Ava. How hard is it to respect someone's wishes? YTA. What the hell is wrong with you? This was for your daughter Isa and you made it about yourself and your other daughter. She told you exactly what to do. But you didn't care about her and her feelings and couldn't actually hear her. Y'all made a scene at the funeral. You should be ashamed of yourself. YTA. I'm a pro-show dog handler that puts about 40k miles on a year traveling with dogs. Here's what you need to know. Emotional support animals have no legal rights. Isa is correct. Service dogs have rights. ESAs aren't verified, tested or trained to be anything but pets. Again, since you seem to have trouble getting it, you have no right to take an ESA anywhere and make it difficult for people with true service animals. YTA. ESA are not service animals, and people who insist they are jeopardize and hurt people who actually have service animals. YTA. YTA. This funeral was not for Ava or Luna's sake. It was for Isa's family. Emotional animals are not trained or certified. So all you did was bring a pet and you refused to compromise for the sake of others. YTA. Since when did this funeral become about you and a rabbit? You were told explicitly not to being animals, but you went ahead and decided to disrespect a grieving family's wishes on probably one of hardest days of their lives and did it anyway. YTA. They told you they didn't want you to bring the rabbit. An ESA is not the same thing as a service animal. Info. Why couldn't you just go support your daughter on your own to avoid the whole thing? You knew the minute your daughter said no animals, even an ESA. Showing up with one would cause an issue. Ava could have supported her stepsister at home in a different way that would have been more comfortable for everyone involved. YTA. You could have handled it differently by IDK. Listening to your grieving daughter. Ugh. Parents like you suck so much. YTA. You had one job to support your daughter who had lost her stepfather. Well done for making it all about your golden child. YTA. An emotional support animal is not a service animal and is not a medical need. You were already told that animals were not allowed at the venue and not to bring it. If Ava couldn't go anywhere without the rabbit, she shouldn't have gone to the funeral. It's a harsh reality that there's going to be plenty of places that she won't be able to go to with a rabbit in tow. God's op. You could have just not gone. This is awful behavior on your part. When someone invites you somewhere, it is on you to be a good guest. You were emphatically told no to the bunny, but decided to bring it anyway? Of course, YTA. And a rude one to boot. Info. Did you check with your ex first? YTA. An emotional support animal is a pet, not a service animal. As such, you broke the cemetery's rules, which Isa had made a point of informing you of, and also ignored your grieving daughter's begging for you not to bring Ava with you. As far as you, what could you do? Your options were clear. You could have left Luna at home and your family could have offered Ava necessary support. You could have spoken with Isa about the fact that it might not be possible for Ava to attend the funeral and checked Isa was okay with that since Luna couldn't attend. Or you could have asked someone, an administrator, for the cemetery if you could get an exemption, and then if they said yes, checked with Isa again if she still had objections to Ava bringing Luna. And really, with the emphasis your elder daughter was making that pets are not allowed at the cemetery and begging you not to bring Luna and to not make a drama, how could you not see that bringing Luna was inevitably going to cause upset? YTA. Your wife could have stayed home with Ava, but instead you decided to make a grieving family more stressed out so that Ava could come.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.